You know what we doing here. See ya in 30. Your boy PH. We back with season 5. Can y'all believe that? Season 5, episode 1 of You Know What We Doing Here. Know how we doing it. Your boy a little sick today, so I'm not eating during the podcast. I'm drinking tea. Nonetheless, I appreciate the people that be hitting me up, telling me y'all like the podcast, telling me y'all like the content, telling me that it's something different. So, out of respect, I'm going to make sure I'm here all the time. Let me send this thing out. Got an exciting show, you know what I'm saying? To try to bring some new life, and new light to the 2024 season that's coming up. 2024. Wow. Started in 2002. I got coaches that coach for me that I've been coaching longer than they've been alive. I'm old, man. I never thought I'd get there. But nonetheless, you know, it's your boy PH. We here. We everything is moving according to plan. We got a fun, exciting show. We got a guest joining us. Y'all know the guests. Y'all seen the guests plenty of times. Y'all used to hearing from the guests every week alongside me. And now the guest is back to talk to the people. Share it out. It's going to be an interesting conversation. If y'all know me, y'all know if we have to discuss anything, we're going to talk about it all. Talk about it clear and be concise and ask questions and push back and ask detailed questions and speak on facts. Stand on business. Roxbury Titans, what up? It's my boy Lazar, man. What's up, Lazar? Hope all is well, my brother. Lazar, I got your boy on tonight, Lazar. We're going to be talking to some familiar faces. So the agenda tonight, let's go through this. So what we going to be talking to y'all tonight? So one thing we're going to be talking about is, you know, the youth football. You know, everything is huge now with the college portal, and youth should be able to jump around, and advocacy from our region about everybody being able to do what they want and not being stopped by region or somebody like that, right? And so, with that being said, if it's the position of everybody that want to do that, Happy New Year, my brother Matt. Happy New Year. If it's the position that people in our region would like to jump around, so let's have a real discussion on the youth football portal. That's all I'm saying. I think we should be clear. I think we should talk about it, right? So we're going to talk about that, and let's get into that. MVPs at banquets. I've had people tell me from they should do MVPs to they shouldn't. This might be a small conversation. It might be quick. I just want to know what y'all do. What y'all do out there. Me personally, we don't do it. That don't mean we better than y'all or worse than y'all. We just don't do it. But I'm interested to hear from all of you programs. All of our banquets are coming up. Hopefully, you do some type of award ceremony for thanking the people for spending their money and giving you their most prized possession, right? Parents give us their most prized possession, and we got to learn to cherish it and respect it. So at your banquets, we'll be talking about that. Off-season questions. Are you hearing scuttlebutt? Programs might be leaving this league, going to that league. And I'm talking about not like interleague. I'm talking about jumping league to league. What team's going AYF, the Pop Warner, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe there's no information. It's too early. Maybe nobody got nothing, but I think that's important to put down. You know what I'm saying? Wayne, Phil, you see my Wolverines. I will not have that discussion with you, Wayne. I will not discuss. If you came up here to see me talk about Alabama and Michigan, I will not, even though my guest is going to try to get me to talk about it, right? So we're not going to do that. But see this? You come to the man cave and play cards. That's what you play cards with, baby. Anyway, getting back to it, the 2024 Connecticut Youth All-Star Game is loading. Listen to me. Man, listen. If y'all know the All-Star Game, y'all know that we try to do something bigger than any event and try to keep it different, right? And so the idea is to do something different. This year is going to be different than any other year. I can promise you that. That's the only promises I'm making tonight. But we're going to talk about some of the stuff that's happening. Then we're going to talk about UYFL Nationals. There was a lot of talk about them and what they did. And so we're going to do that. Demeter Crawford wants to talk about flags 7-on-7. Should you be doing it? Should not? I see a lot of people still playing football. I know some people don't even like that. Every offseason we talk about how much football is too much football. I think we should talk about it all. And with that said, let's get started.
I met a boy today.
That's me.
So fine.
If you know, tap in, share the post. It's your boy PH, a.k.a. The Press, a.k.a. Mr. Above 140.
Come to my town and get with me. She love I'm around.
It's not about the amount of talent you have. It's 100% about the work ethic. Ask your coach or anybody that's been doing this.
I met a boy today. So fine.
Why is it? And they gonna say, oh, we can't, it's illegal. Cut this, cut it out. All you coaches out there, cut it out. Because that's BS.
The number one question I will get from now until July will be, what will the All-Star uniforms look like? Drum roll, please. I love keeping that secret. But Matt said All-Star unis got to be Marvel versus DC. That's so cliche. Like that's something that everybody expects. And I like to think outside the box. I got one for you, Matt, though. It's going to be hot, brother. But with that being said, question to all of my youth football people out there. Question. Everybody watching, I got a real question for y'all. Should Nationals do away? I don't care what league you are. I'm in Pop Warner, so we can talk Pop Warner, but AYF got it too. Should Nationals do away 100% with waivers? A complete youth football portal. You put yourself in a portal. You sign a 1-year agreement. However, what if that 1-year agreement came with no ability to switch? I'll give you an example. Kid A from Hartford, Connecticut, enters this portal, some website that Nationals make, and he enters the portal. He decides he wants to play for Plainville Pop Warner. Plainville Pop Warner gets him, signs him up for 2024. He gets over there, he hates it. He's stuck for the year. What do y'all think about that? What do y'all think? Everybody want a portal until it's time to have a portal. So what if you had that ability to have a portal, but you had that decision and you cannot jump? Because right now, if there is no youth football in Hartford, I can go see New Haven. I can go practice with New Britain. I can go practice with Hartford. I could go practice with Mount Hope. I could go practice with the Boston Raiders, and then I can figure out where I want to go, and I can go. That's when you don't have a team in Pop Warner in your town. Now we want to create a portal. What happens if we do decide to do a portal? Because I've been thinking about this, that if we did a portal, what would that look like? So what would it look like to me in my mind? Listen, I'm going to say it again. I have absolutely no power in Pop Warner at all, contrary to beliefs. I just talk. That's all I do. I don't have no power. I don't have no influence at nationals. I have zero influence at regionals. I damn near have a little bit of influence in the Hartford Hurricanes. So trust me, I don't have power. But if I was at the region or at nationals and I had the power to create a portal, I'm asking you, would you be in favor of it? And here's what I'm talking about. So I create a portal online. You get to annually, one time, dump yourself into the portal. Once into the portal, up to 3 teams get to apply for you to come there. You don't always get your decision, right? The portal could even look something similar to the closest 3 programs. That's not the program you want to go to, that you live in. But let's say you enter the portal. Then what happens is that one team will make you an offer. You decide, okay, I think I'm going to go play in Hartford. You get to Hartford and you find out Phil shows up at practice and all he does is run plays. He don't do indies. He don't go over special teams. He don't care nothing about no NPR players. He's using the best players and just running plays all practice. And you hate it here. You hate it. You know why you hate it? Because ain't no coaching going on. But now you're stuck. Now you're stuck for 2024. And yes, you paid your money. You paid your money, but you stuck. All right? So now you're stuck for the Hartford Hurricanes in your portal. You wanted to leave, you left. You got the choice, you chose one time. Deal with your choices. That's what we teach kids, right? Deal with the choices you make. I'm going to bring in my guests to help me tackle these tough issues and talk about these issues. I'm going to bring them in. Everybody knows who he is. Everybody knows the name. So we're going to welcome back the General, Mr. Tito Correa. How are you doing, sir? I haven't seen you in a very long time.
Yeah, 48 hours. What's going on? What's going on, Playboy?
I'm chilling, and we sitting here discussing this youth football portal, right? And so I have an idea. I said to myself, okay, if we did have a youth football portal, what would it look like? So here's my thought, Tito. The youth football portal would look something like this. Tito Correa, who lives in New Britain, don't want to play in New Britain. So you dump yourself into a Pop Warner portal, Tito, and you drop yourself in there, your child. Now that your child is into this portal, Tito, teams get to go make an offer. So Tito decides, I think I want to play in Hartford in 2024. When Tito signs up for me, Tito, that's your choice for the year. You do not get to renege on Hartford now and go back to New Britain or renege on Hartford and go to New Haven or West Haven. We teach our kids, right? The choices that you make matters. Parents also knows that. So when a parent makes that decision and they get here, Tito, and they figure out all I do is run plays. All I don't do no indie. I don't teach nobody except my star players. NPR players sit and watch the regular players run plays, and you hate it here. I'm saying if there is a portal, you should be stuck. I don't think you should have no say-so on your next move until the following year. What you think about that?
I agree. I agree to the point that, I mean, what are you teaching your kid? What are you teaching your kid when things don't go your way? You know, I mean, you grow in life, like, you know, and kids aren't going to understand this. When things don't go well at our job, we can't just get up and move jobs.
100%.
You know, when you're in school, I mean, even when we were in school at a young age, you remember when we used to play that game where the chair game, where if the first one to get a seat and the last one to dig?
Yep.
Did you stop playing that game because you didn't get in the seat? You get what I'm saying? Now we've made it too common a place, and we're even talking about the portal at the youth level is crazy, but we know it does happen. And,
well, I think it's coming. I think it's coming where parents is about to start advocating. I'm paying my money. Let me play where I want. I mean,
that's a different conversation, though.
No, but isn't that what the portal is? Tito, I
don't know. First of all, is the portal real? Is the youth portal real? I mean, they still got to sign waivers.
Well, so that's what I'm saying. I'm talking about getting rid of waivers and creating a portal where Tito makes a decision and you're stuck for that year. You don't, because right now, Tito, a kid from Newington, he can go to your practice, then come to mine, then go to West Haven, then go to New Haven, and then say, F all y'all, I'm playing at Bridgeport.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I mean, I think if he don't register there, what's the problem with him going to Bridgeport? Now, if he registers somewhere, I agree. If you register your child, you should see that obligation out. But the problem is the way the rules in all these leagues are, they give you till what, October 1st, basically?
Well, that's to add people to your roster, right? But what I'm saying is, if I built a website, a real portal, once Tito's allocated for 2024, not in the town you live in. So if you get allocated to any other town outside of yours, you start. Now, Tito got up to the 2024, to October, the first Monday in October, to enter the portal. Here's your trickery, Tito. Tito decides to wait till week 4. F New Britain, I'm entering the portal. If nobody picked Tito up, guess what? You're not playing for 2024. See, I like that because it'll teach a lot of these parents like to jump around. When they find out they son done for the year at week 4 because they wanted to enter the portal and they thought everybody was going to run for them, and Phil over there like, I know he good, but I'm good, bro. I don't want to affect my thing over here. And somebody else go, we got camaraderie. We don't got time for that parent. And now he's like, yo, but my son, now you can't go back to your home team because you entered the portal. That's out. Nobody else is trying to pick you up. Guess what? Your season is over at week 3, 4. I think that'll make parents say, damn, is the value of my child as really valuable as I think he is? Because right now, it always ends up in an argument, Tito. It always ends up with me or you being the bad guy, right? They want to leave. We're going to let them go, but it still end up being this back and forth of animosity. And what I never understand about the parents, if y'all out there, listen, why do y'all choose to take y'all kids from our program? We sign waivers and we let y'all go. Y'all turn around and have animosity towards us, like we did something to y'all.
That's because
cool and leave.
I told you what that is. It's like somebody feels like, in reality, they're doing you wrong. But since they can't live with the decision they made, they got to find a reason to beef with you. You get what I'm saying? We all deal with it. And I watch those people closely because I see it all the time. You're the one that did the fuck. And I swore in 2024, I'm going to try to clean up my language. You're doing the cornball stuff, but you're going to make it seem like I did you wrong to make yourself feel better. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Like we see it happen all the time. And anybody knows New Britain, Hartford, I don't fight. You get waivers from me. You get waivers from our 2 places. We don't fight over waivers. If you don't want to be here, I don't want you here. I don't even beg people to be here. So when I hear things like all-star teams and stuff like that, if anybody knows me, I don't recruit not one kid ever to come play in New Britain. Ever. Not one thing. People come here because they want to come. There's never me, oh, you should come play for us. I don't do that. I don't care who it is. And if anybody says that I've done it, it's not the truth. Clearly not the truth. Because I keep receipts. So and I'll show people.
People only care about waivers with good players. I don't think a coach will hesitate to sign a waiver for an NPR kid. But here's the thing, Darity. Last year, I'm not going to say no names. Last year, I had a kid on my Florida 12U team that decided, the mom decided she didn't want to play for us because he was an NPR player. She didn't feel he was getting his just due. Fine. Signed the waiver. No problem. Like you said, signed the waiver. I signed over good kids too, but I signed the waiver. He went to his new team and was an NPR player. Right? Now the truth of the matter is, Tito, that kid could have said, nah, I'm an NPR here. I want to go back to Hartford. Or, you know what? I'm going to go to Blues. Because they're sorry. I ain't saying that the case. They're sorry and I want to play. Well, he left us to go to another team, ended up an NPR player anyway, stayed there, though was thinking about leaving. Now, here's my thing with that, right? So when you think about it like that, my thing is that parent should now know I made a bad decision. I'm stuck, because that's how life works. Y'all want to enter this new world of it? Cool. Then you should make a decision and you living by it. You can write nationals, write anybody on any level, on any national league. You should be stuck. Because when you make a decision in life, Tito, or if I make a decision in life to do something, I'm bound to live by the decisions that's made in that decision. I got it. The repercussions are the repercussions.
We know from being in this thing 22 years, like we've said it many times. We met each other as men in our early 20s, being at the head of these programs. We've seen the landscape of this thing completely change, and where it has went to, it is no longer a logical place. It's just not a logical place anymore, because we have parents with misconstrued ideas about the ability of their children, and they act on it, which plays into this portal conversation. You get what I'm saying?
I think it's even worse, Tito. I'm going to take it.
They act on their feelings. They act on their personal feelings with not truly understand what it is. Let me refocus.
While you think about that, let me say this. I think it's worse. I think it's the coaches entertaining those feelings. So
no, absolutely. But there's people that are not being one. They're not being 100
down. When
they're not being 100,
it don't work though, right? When somebody come to you and say, "Man, my son is stud. He started running back," and you go, "Cool, get over there in line, learn how to do a 3-point stance." Humbling experience. But when you got somebody that see him and they want a kid so bad that they tell mom, "You right, he is the next Barry Sanders. Come play for me."
Right, see, but the worst part of that, to build on it, we know there's dudes that are doing that just to spite me and you. You get what I'm saying?
100%.
Not even being 100 with these parents. So when they do come to an established team, or they do come to that situation they think is better for them, now homie got to stand amongst the dogs and got to do what dogs do. And some of their kids ain't built for that.
And then
but then we're the bad guys.
Whole program or teams home in October.
Right. And then we're the bad guys because all we're doing is keeping it a buck with their parents. We go through it all the time.
Well, it doesn't matter. When you hold yourself to a standard in life, let's stick with you football. If you're a program out there and you hold yourself to a standard, you're going to be the bad guy to someone. I'm going to give you an example. If you say my registration fee is $225, I don't give a damn what happened. I don't care about your situation. I will not go down. The first time you get a parent that don't want to pay it or can't pay it or come up with an excuse and you do not let that child play, right then and there, you held yourself to a standard, you will be the bad guy.
Absolutely.
Whether you decide, whether people think you're right or wrong, whenever you hold yourself, your program to a standard, my standard is I'm never going to say no to a waiver. You want to leave? You can leave. I let a kid leave, T, and you know this. Week 5, we played a team, and week 5 on Friday, the rosters was locking. This was one of our best, probably one of our best players on that team. After the game, on Tuesday, signed a waiver so that kid could go play for the team that just beat us. It was no ill will. I didn't call you. Me and you didn't argue. It was no beef between me and nobody else about signing waivers, right? What we have to understand is when you hold yourself to that standard, cool. But then the backlash is going to be what you said earlier, right? I did that to you. Now, what would I have any reason to ever feel about you when you did everything I
right? No, and not that. And here to probably circle back, they're going to try to come back to you next year and think everything's going to be 100, and you are well within your right not to accept that kid back in your program just based on principles, not no feelings.
See, I was getting to that. Now,
right, based on principles,
standard and say, look, I went through a lot last year with XYZ. I don't want to do it again. I don't even want to potentially do it again. No hard feelings, but I'm going to move forward. Now I become the bad guy because when you hold yourself to a standard, you will become the bad guy. And people that run programs have to understand that. You're not going to be able to make people like you. You're not. Your coach is not going to like you. If you do this long enough, you're going to have coaches and parents that leave your program, try to dump on you, try to talk bad about you because you didn't do what they do. You didn't let them run into a park in the summertime at the jazz festival and collect money behind your back. Put out flyers and have cookouts and banquets behind your back in the middle of COVID that could affect funding. When you hold people to a standard, this is what we do and this is what we don't. There will always be people that's upset with your standard. That's just life. You know, it's no different than if you're dealing with a woman, right? If I got standards, I don't want women with made up makeups or fake bodies or whatever. And if you say no, you ain't, or they can come back at you and say you're discriminating. This is what standards does. Standards will affect people negatively, but the key to all of that is you got to hold your ground. If you really got a standard,
absolutely
hold your ground. And programs out there, I'll tell you, come up with a standard. Meet with your staff, come up with just an identity of who your program's going to be. Because
like you remember a couple months back, a couple months back when I was really going through it. You remember that video I sent you? That a man that goes through life with no enemies. You can't live like that. You can't grow like that.
No.
If you do this long enough, you're gonna create enemies, and it's completely healthy. Now, enemies in a respectful form is one thing, but if you try to bring harm to people, that's a whole nother. So I don't want people to get it confused on what I'm trying to say. Bottom line is, if you stand on what you believe, you're gonna make your fair share of enemies in any walk of life, period. And it's no different here, and people need to understand that. But once you make those choices to want to be my enemy or be my adversary, you no longer reserve the right to come back and be part of anything I'm part of. You get what I'm saying? And that goes for anybody. I'm just using me as the example. You don't get the right to automatically come back. That's not how this works. You get what I'm saying? And people lose sight of that.
I want everybody to listen to what we was talking about, Tito.
Yeah, this is the thing I sent them. Yeah. You can't hear it, Phil.
You can't hear it?
I can't. Maybe they could.
He said a man that have no enemies is dead.
Right. Well, I didn't want to get all that deep.
Enemies is dead. A man that don't have enemies is a man that's useless. That's what he said. Now,
absolutely.
I think we all go say it all the time that if you stand up for something, or if you continue either you stand up for something or you'll fall for anything. That's kind of what it is. Let me read some of these other comments. It said they do that in travel ball, a portal type thing. That's what Carlton Jones said. Carlton, talk to me about that. What is that?
Yeah, what do you mean? But when we say portal, we're not.
That's why kids and parents in Georgia rather play travel ball versus Pop Warner. Travel football, Tito, not basketball.
So they talking about battle, though. They talking about battle.
Georgia, that's probably travel ball, meaning Georgia. I don't know.
Right, but a lot of places, remember, once again, the waiver thing is something that happens in New England. That don't happen everywhere else.
No. It does happen. Here's the thing. Nobody else enforces it.
Right. What I'm saying is,
the waiver process exists in AYF and Pop Warner nationally. The difference is when you're in Florida, like what are we arguing about? He want to play there, let him play. Like they have that attitude. So it's different. You know what I'm saying? It's not that it don't exist. It's that the enforcement of it is kind of not really
right. Well, in New England, what I'm saying is we still are held to that standard where other places aren't enforcing it, is what I'm saying. Like we're still very hung up on it. A lot of other places ain't hung up on it, is what I'm saying.
Now, could that be, let me talk about the other side. Could it be because if there's no portal, we'll see youth football shrink in our region.
I do. I believe that as well. There's a lot to that conversation, though. I told you 20 years ago, we didn't have in Connecticut, we didn't have all these teams that keep popping up year in and year out. It wasn't like that.
It's true.
It was more regionally.
Yeah.
It was more regionally based. Like you had, like for instance, here's one that stands out to me because I feel that if they would have stayed Tri-Valley, whatever they was called, when South Windsor, Manchester, and Vernon were together, they were called the Tri-something Panthers. You know, they were out of that area. They were a much stronger program as the three than they were as three separate. Same thing with Naugatuck. When Woodland, and Prospect were all one, they were called the Tri-something.
Tri-Valley.
They were a much stronger program than there be three separate programs. 20 years ago, we didn't have all these programs. So that's why it's watered down. I feel if there was less teams, there would be a more competitive atmosphere. But you know how egos are and people want to do their own things. We have a lot more teams now than we did 20 years ago. And I think if we got rid of the waivers, there would really be no order here. And you would see a lot of programs go away, which may not be a bad thing. But like every other conversation, there's a plus side and a negative side to all those scenarios.
Right,
so I don't know.
If you did that, right? And we see this on different levels, the competitive balance would just tilt. Because we're in a time, Tito, where everybody want to be on the wave, right?
Yeah,
everybody want to be part of the.
We're also in the time of the cloud chasing.
If you're winning, all the 13 U's and 860 decide to play for you.
Right.
What are you going to do? Like now, it's tilted so much that it's no longer fun for you either. Right, like it's cool to have the kids, but then it's no longer fun. So you find yourself,
comes with,
I want to play that person and I want to play them. When usually you don't mind playing your schedule, but now it's so tilted, it ain't even no fun playing your schedule.
It's not. I mean, I just think, and I know this is not where we want to go with this conversation. In a holistic view, we're in a bad spot in Connecticut. We're in a completely bad spot. Like we're in a bad spot in a lot of different ways. And like I told you, when we got into this thing 3 years ago, we thought we was going to push the culture forward and do the right thing. And as you've seen, it's brought us a lot of chaos and bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Which that wasn't our intention. Well, our intention was not to be part of the problem. Our intention was to push the culture forward. And I just don't think we can handle pushing the culture forward as a whole being. They can't handle it because it brings too much jealousy. It brings too much envy. It brings too much backstabbing. People always trying to be around things we doing when we were trying to do things to help the community as a whole. But you got people wishing on our demise. It's an unhealthy place. And it took for me to step back to realize that's not what we did this for. But talking to Junie the other night, you know what I'm saying? The brother Junie G, your man, you know, he's the one that convinced me to come back on. And I'm here and he's right. You know what I'm saying? I did what I had to do, but it's time, you know. We can't let that stop us. We can't let that stop us from trying to push the culture forward. Cats is just gonna have to get down and lay down. I hate to say it, because this is the way we moving.
Yo, I think it's the old saying that Carlton Jones said one thing that I was gonna say. BS is always gonna come when you're headed in the right direction. That's 100% true.
Facts.
But also, Tito, it's the other saying that you used to say, right? The first person through the wall get the bloodiest.
Always.
Right. So okay, you know, do the Connecticut All-Star Game, and what do? You get a bunch of criticisms, right? Dude, when I released the uniforms last year, I was getting killed on social media.
Oh, I was killing you too.
Funny,
but then them shits was hot. They was hot.
The idea come together, right? Because at the end of the day, if I concentrate on the youth and the kids and that, you don't really gotta care what the adults say. The kids thought it was hot. Dude, let me explain something to everybody out there, especially about the All-Star Game.
No, I told you I had it wrong. When I seen it unfold live in the flesh the day of, I'm like, this shit is fire.
Yeah,
it's fire.
But what I did do was I ran the unis by kids. Right? Like I ran them by the kids. I inboxed parents with kids and said, what do your child think? I get multiple uniforms done and run them by the kids before they select it. And so it's not like, yo, this is it, boom, go, right? But not back to the original before we get to the All-Star game. All I'm gonna say is it's fun pushing the culture forward. And yeah, it come with a lot of BS, but as long as it don't come with no violence, I'm up for it. Like I'm
good with it. Like I told you many times, as long as I don't
no violence, like
right. As long as I don't ever directly feel threatened. If I don't, you know what I'm saying? Words is words. You can come at me all you want. As long as I don't never feel threatened, it's never gonna be nothing. But if I feel like I'm not gonna make it home to my kids, like anybody else, it's gonna draw a reaction. And the reaction, you know, at that point, it's not up to anybody how that goes. You know what I'm saying? We say it all the time. You don't have the right to tell me how to act if I'm feeling threatened. Just like for anybody else, you don't know what anybody else is thinking. So I can handle words just like you could. We see enough of them. You know what I'm saying?
I tell you, I never thought, I thought that when we did this podcast, it would be fun, that everybody would laugh. I realized that I had to take it a little bit more serious and be a little bit on our P's and Q. Factually, for one, because we giving people information. And I thank the people out there because they actually listen to find out new info. And I do got some new info for y'all, national info, but we'll talk about it later. I people listening for info, but what I didn't anticipate, and I'll say this, is how upset people get when I see them in person, even though I don't know them. Like I wasn't, that's the part I wasn't prepared for. Like showing up to a field and have somebody go,
yeah,
the person that do this, yo, what I know people say different things. The negative energy it's been minor. I'm gonna be honest, compared to the love for the show, it's been minor, but it do throw you off because
it's happened to both of us. It's happened to both of us.
Meet you and say, yo, I don't agree with everything you do. You know, I don't really fuck with you like that, but I respect what you're trying to do. It's weird energy to me because I don't. If my first words in meeting somebody, if I'm gonna become cool, it's not, I don't agree with everything you do. I think that's a given. I don't think there's nobody on social media that agree with everything anybody else does. So to start a convo off with that, when you haven't even said, yo, my name's so-and-so, what's your name? Boom, boom. Yo, I'll be checking you out. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Yo, let's talk about this. Why you feel like that? Like an in-depth conversation, I'm up for it, right? But that's what I wasn't prepared.
Man, here's the thing.
Which throws me off a little. Because honestly, I'll say what up to anybody that say what up to me. As a man, I'm not going to jump out the window and disrespect nobody off rip. Nobody's wife, girlfriend, nothing, or no man. Because at this point in my life, I want it easy. If you got negative energy, if you want to go show somebody, it's a new slogan I saw. It said, I'm not going to help nobody hate on somebody that ain't do nothing to me. Right?
No, that's a fact.
If I'm outside and we chilling and we saying what up and we talking football, I'm up for it. That don't mean we got to be the best friends, but we can debate in person. Like, respectful.
It's not even that. We know what we've learned, what I've learned, you know, because every day I'm learning and growing just like everybody else. That a lot of the things that we say on social media, especially when it's in text form, is not real. And it's always misconstrued and it's perceived the wrong way. And some people act on it, some people don't. But 90% of what you see on social media, especially in text form, people posting and stuff like that, a lot of these things aren't how these people really are, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I think social media has killed a lot of what we tried to push forward as well, because people really get hung up on whatever's being said on social media, where a lot of it really is how you perceive it. Because everybody's entitled to their opinion and what they want to say. It's just some people, I guess they take it personally and it becomes a problem. You know? Sometimes it's not personal.
Kids from other states are recognizing y'all and addressing you as coach. You're doing something right. That's a win. Hey, and I'm going to shout your son out because no lie, Dorchester, congratulations on the 14U national championship. I was walking through, I think it was halftime. I was just walking through to go get something to eat right through the tunnel. They was huddling up. And my man V's son was like, yo, Coach Phil, what's up? Like loud too. I was like, oh snap. Like he remembered me. right? And I said, what up to the kid? I ain't gonna lie. That probably was one of the best feelings I had for the week, because it was just that a kid that we was competitive against, he still knew it was like, Coach Phil cool. Like, what up, Coach Phil? Like, it ain't no animosity there. I don't wish bad on a kid. Like, that to me is like, that's what it was about. For me, that was like, okay, I'm in this, I'm doing what I'm supposed to.
I tell you, it bugs me out all the time when even when I took the couple months off of the podcast and I'm going through the airport, going to Florida, even when I got into Florida and walked through the different tournaments, I hear the kids say, yo, that's the general. The general. That shit bugs me out still to this day. It also bugs me out when adults come up to me and say, what up? Especially knowing nature, some of the things that have happened over social media. That bugs me out too, because you never know how these people are feeling. So it's also awkward. It's awkward. That celebrity is awkward as well. You get what I'm saying? Because you don't know how people are feeling when you meet them.
But
and then you got to be on your P's and Q's.
The goal of like with us asking about the transfer portal, with what we talking about to tie it all together, people, because I don't want to go too far off on a tangent, is basically saying, should AYF, Pop Warner, whatever other leagues out there start to get ahead of where the game is headed so that we don't find ourselves behind again? And when I talk, I'll specifically talk about Pop Warner because they're usually behind what AYF is doing, what YNC is doing. So that's why I asked the question, everybody out there, about the headsets. Should we start to allow headsets? That was a question. I don't want to revisit the whole convo, but that was a question because the game is headed to be more advanced than ever. And people go, oh, the kid's not ready. Don't dumb down the intelligence of these kids. Look at these 9U games that's playing behind me. These kids are throwing 30, 40-yard passes, out routes, fade routes, fly routes. Like, they're doing all this stuff. And we keep we keep piping them down into our small minds on what we think these kids can do. You know what it will open up, T, if you, my offensive coordinator, and win a state championship, and you get to sit up in a booth with a headset, and now I'm down on the field. People out there was actually telling me it won't make no difference. I have to believe they don't know football if they can make a statement.
No, it absolutely will make a difference.
When I was at the regional games and Stacks and all those guys up there, I went up there real quickly, and from watching a view like that is a completely different perspective from the sideline.
No, absolutely. The bird's eye view's better. The problem is, and I listened to the conversation the other night when you guys had it. The problem is, and I think, and I mentioned it to you, is that a lot of these facilities aren't capable of doing that. Now, I believe there's alternative ways where you could get those headsets, but I don't know if that's the case. I know a lot of facilities aren't equipped to be able to have headsets on home and away, and that would be a disadvantage for those, you know. So I mean, it would be a disadvantage.
What would be the disadvantage
of? It wouldn't be, because if you ain't got the capability, you ain't got the capability, you ain't got the capability. So I mean, that would go for both ways.
We're at a field with no booth. I still would want my headset to talk to you instead of walking up to you, yo. But
yeah,
I can talk to you without interrupting you. Because let's be honest, Tito, when you in your zone, you just gonna ignore the hell out of me. Right?
I mean, in NEYT,
I'm not listening.
In the spring, we're allowed to have the headsets, and we still choose not to, because like with me and my staff, we've been together so long, there's really no need for it. You know what I'm saying? There's no need for it. But maybe we will this year, because it would be cool to have that type of capability. Like, the only place I know that allows it
is that stand far away from my staff when they're coaching, because I interrupt them too much. I talk too damn much, and I get
we all do.
Explain that to me, right? And so one thing that I do is I walk all the way. I'm at, you got to be inside the 25. If they're going that way, I'm standing at the 25 watching from that angle. And sometimes I go, we only got 10 people, or we don't have a DN. I got to run 50 yards. Timeout. When I can say, yo, timeout, we don't got a DN. Like, to me, those little things, it does help when you're coaching, right? Now, is it making my job easier? Probably. But in turn, it helps you prepare these children better. Because let's be honest, right after you and I, 13U, 14U, they're going to a place where they're going to be taught with headsets. Even if we say only the 14U and 13U levels of football can have headsets. I think at some point, start to introduce the game before it run away from us. That's the same thing about not only the headsets, but that's the same thing about the portal idea. The game is getting away. You're talking about children, Tito, that are now being monetized in youth football. We don't have to like it. The fact is, it's happening. I just saw Charleston White with Baby Grunk.
Yeah, I saw that.
You know what
and Charleston White was bugging too on that kid. I don't even.
My point is that
I know it was staged, but
monetized in youth football, right? Friday Night Tights, those kids was being monetized in youth football. The game is moving to a point where the children are going to be monetized. You don't have to like it. You don't have to like what I say. You don't have to agree. You don't have to agree, but it's true. I just gave you facts, right? So since the game is being monetized, since all of that is heading, the game is heading that way, and we can't be a bunch of old dudes tying a knot, trying to pull it back, because you're just going to get dragged with the train. Because the truth of the matter is, parents run youth football. As soon as they decide the game is going that way, I want to go that way with the game. Either you go that way or you don't. That's why we're here 20 years later, Tito, because we was able to adapt to the changes of the game. You and I both know, don't say no names, people who thought they was the world's end of coaching, started programs, City of Harp, all this, knew everything, and in 1 or 2 years where they was at.
Gone. And that we've seen that happen how many times even recently that I told you that was going to happen with certain folks. Like dudes, it's tough. It ain't easy. It's not easy. All I'm going to say is this, it's not easy what we do. We may make it look easy, but a lot of people have tried to do what we do that we no longer hear from. And that's just the reality of the matter. That's just a fact.
Well, the All-Star game is definitely not easy, and that's what we want to transition to. But Gabe said Avalon and Oviedo, the same thing. He saw our last podcast. It is not true. That's false information. Avalon and Oviedo is not the same program.
Yeah, I was going to tell you. I told you when I was in Orlando, I went with my mother. She don't live too far from Avalon Park. Avalon Park is nowhere near Oviedo. Avalon Park is his own. It's in Orlando, but it's pretty much his own little city within Orlando. It's crazy. It's nowhere near where Oviedo's at. So I don't even see how that would work. Oviedo's like on the other side, way on the other side.
Let me tell you where that came from. First of all, Destiny crazy. We want 6U in the All-Star game. Hey, coaches, tap in. Do y'all want 6U in the All-Star game? Let's add 6U to the All-Star game, baby. Let's do it.
Wow.
The truth of the matter is this. We were at our second game down in Florida, and they had the Southeast region doing NPR, right? And one thing that the Southeast region lady said when she was doing the NPR, she was like, "Where you from?" And I'm like, "Yo, this Avalon team." She's like, "Yeah, they beat my team in the playoff." I'm like, "Word?" She's like, "Yeah, they stacked." She was like, "But all they did was them and Oviedo came together." I said, "You're in their league?" She said, "Yes." I said, "But Oviedo's down here at Nationals." She said, "That's just the 13U team." She was like, "The 13U team is still Oviedo because they were already here, but the rest of the teams came together." So that's why I said I thought Avalon. I was going off based off of a president in that league. I didn't make it up, or not that saying Gabe was saying that, but I was just giving information on where that came from. Kim said, "I can say this is true. When Tito was in another state, was saying to him during our football, I guess they was calling you the general down at UYFL." Yeah. So talk to me about UYFL. Talk to me about the experience. What you got to tell me?
Oh, no, the experience. I mean, from our point of view, they had one of the best, which is going to lead to another argument, but I thought their check-in process was the best I ever seen. I don't know, and I'm just prefacing that by saying I don't know how Buffalo pulled what they did, but it was almost like impossible to cheat the way they had it. I thought from the check-in process to the facility, the complex is dope. There's 11 football fields in one location. So when you walk in there, it's football everywhere. Everywhere you turn is football. Every game was live streamed. They have all the bells and whistles with the vendors. You went the year before. You seen how they got the vendors set up. It's dope. The way they have the championship headquarters there in the corner is dope. Plant City sits about, 40 minutes from Orlando one way, 20, 30 minutes from Tampa the other way. So it's not that far out the way. I mean, I have no complaints about the venue. The competition was dope. You get to play all the Florida teams, especially in that open division. You see all the Florida teams, and you see you saw all the other big name teams that was there, like Playmakers Elite. You saw the Buffalo Kids, Westside Gun and them team. That's the Buffalo Kids, the CNG Eagles. I mean, you saw all the big names there, which I thought was dope. I have no complaints about the tournament, especially the price. The price is about. I know it's 40,000 cheaper than Pop Warner, and I believe about half the cost of AYF as well. I don't know if it's quite half the cost. I don't know what it cost the AYF cast to get there. I'm just basing off the numbers what I know from Pop Warner and UYF. And if I had to do it again, if I was allowed to do it again, I would suggest we do it again. I don't know if that's going to be our reality moving forward, but the tournament is to me, I had no problems with it. And like I said, when I did that, when I came back and told you, I've been to 3 of the 4 tournaments. The only one I've never been to and participated in is the battle one. And out of all the tournaments, I mean, the UYF one is right there with the other 2, as far as what I've seen on the field. And if we're talking about like the setup, I mean, shit, they got Pop Warner messed up because all 11 fields are right there. So the atmosphere is crazy. You know, the atmosphere over there is dope. You went the year before, and we went on an off day. Well, when you go on the on days, like the on days, it's crazy over there. And it's games from 9 in the morning to 9 at night. And it's constant flow. The atmosphere is A1. Live DJ. It was just dope. It was a dope week. My kids enjoyed the experience. I think our parents enjoyed the experience and they got to see it. We played 2 Florida teams that play in Florida Elite. That's not easy task. We competed. I mean, would I do it again? Absolutely. For the price, you can't beat it. I think UYFL is up and coming. It's sad that it's not in New England, but hopefully somebody's going to change that in the near future.
So a couple things. Gabe said, Mike, he said it's false. They were an AAU team that's been together since 8U, about coming together with the West Orlando Outlaws. Facebook user said UYFL get teams that can't win anywhere else. Tell the people that. Gabe said,
who said that? Say what? What was that?
User on my thing. I'm looking at the chat on the app. Gabe said not 11U and 12U. You don't know about the other age groups. So let me just say, like, so I've been down to UYFL. I've never been to AYF Nationals ever in my life. I gotta contest. I did wanted to go with a couple Pop Warner dudes and something came up, so I wasn't able to make it out there. Nope, I'm lying. I've been to AYF one time. I did years ago. My bad. When they were back in Orlando.
Austin Tisdale, you mean? In Austin Tisdale, kissing me.
Tisdale, yeah.
Austin Tisdale.
I've been to Pop Warner. I will say if Pop Warner get the fields right, if they get the fields right, the fields across the street from the stadium, they now had 2 this year, Tito. Remember they had 1 with 14U was playing.
Well, the other big thing I wanted to put up, all at UYF, not only do they got those 11 fields, but remember those fields across the street, that whole big-ass park? That park is designated for practice for anybody involved with UYF, so you don't have to fight over practice space. There's more space than you can handle across the street.
How much time you got to practice?
Nope. You ain't got to check in, nothing. You got absolute access to any part of that field. And I'm talking about it's probably thousands of yards worth of field. There's at least 5 other football fields across the street that you could practice on. So, I mean, that was pretty dope, too. You never have to leave that area to to get done what you need to get done.
Yep. Cool.
And they don't force you. They don't force you to stay. You can stay wherever you want. I thought that was pretty dope too. So you can make it even more affordable.
I did that idea. And then they give you, if you stay in one of their houses, I think they give you a kickback.
Yeah, you get a kickback.
Kind of cool to give you an incentive to stay with them, but not force you to do it. I did like that idea. But like I was saying, I think if Pop Warner got the fields right, I think they look. I'm gonna be honest. Pop Warner got cheer right. People said they want cheers right. Like, right, they figured out cheer early. Like, they got the right venue, the right housing, the right location, the right experience. Like, cheers on freaking point. Like,
Yeah.
They got
Dude,
everybody.
I went to AYF chair competition. There was 330 teams there in a big ass, like their chair competition ain't no slouch neither. Like I was there this year. I had to go there for a certain reason. And I saw their competition and it's crazy. I've never been to Pop Warner competition, but the AYF one is crazy.
Michael's Fly Bradford first said the Sports Farm Foundation All-American Games in March in Atlantic City. It's still cold in Jersey. Y'all playing football in Jersey? Mike Brazinio said y'all got more than a towel down at UYFL. What did they give y'all? Did they give you anything for playing in a tournament or no?
What you mean they gave who? I think all the kids got a D-Max bag, I believe. I'm pretty sure they all got a D-Max bag
that he gives out.
You know the bags that kids be wearing. Every kid.
Carlos. I was
everybody, and then all the coaches. I thought this was pretty dope. I know this is minor, but I thought this was pretty dope. All the coaches got a coin. So like with the heads, and then the tails. It's dope. It's dope. I mean, it's something I'm gonna keep in my library. I mean, it's dope. It's they give you something
at the game. That's the coin.
They give every head coach that was in the tournament got one of those coins.
Cool.
Got one.
Trevor said they had it on point when it was at Disney. Undoubtedly, Pop Warner had the best event in history. No, and nobody will ever come close to what Pop Warner had in Disney World. I don't care what they gave and didn't give out. Kim said y'all got a bag, lanyard, and free Gatorades. Pop Warner did give the kids free Gator. I mean, we did get free Gatorades. And what was our they had towels last year, but this year they gave out what did they give the kids? They gave the kids what the hell? Hey, somebody tap in. What did they give us? I got them. Oh, they gave the pouches. You know the kids like the pouches. You know the pouch that kids could clap. You know people wear the pouch like around the. You know, all the dudes walk around with the little man purse pouch type of thing. That's what they gave out. You know the pouch I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I wouldn't wear it, but
fanny packs. Somebody, West from Waterbury, they gave out fanny packs. But anyway, UYFL do give out a lot. I was just wondering what the experience was like on the on days. You and I have visited on the off days. We have not.
I mean, dude, like I said,
I wanted to know what the experience was like. Because I talked about it last week and people jumped on me that I
the crazier part to it is when you get there, no matter where you stand, you're gonna see multiple football games because they added more fields from the year before. They added another field.
Yeah, when we went, it was 6.
There was 11 this time. It was 11 fields. 11 fields.
Why was Dorchester co-champions? They never played the other champion. For some reason, National Pop Warner went to this Tomlinson and Pop Warner. So Dorchester, I think, I could be wrong, technically is the Tomlinson national champion. And that Cali team was the Pop Warner. I think it's Tomlinson and Pop Warner or Pop and Tomlinson, whatever it is. That's why Nationals now at 14U, they do too. And Kim said all they had was fried dough, and that's all they needed to win her over. So y'all want Kim at your national tournament, y'all better cook fried dough. So Tito,
they had more than that. They had all types of food. They had all types of food over there.
But no, that's cool. I didn't really hear much about Naples. They were the Warner champs. My bad. They were the Warner champs. I thought it was Tomlinson, but the Warner champs. Warner and Tomlin. They used it back. Yeah, I think Danbury won. Danbury did what Dorchester did because he said Tomlin. I think Danbury won either the Warner and the Tomlin back in
1990. 1990.
And Newington won twice. So Danbury at D1 took it, and Newington won back-to-back years, I believe, at Division 2.
03 and 04.
03 and 04.
Yeah.
Dorchester was Tomlin. Okay. So Dorchester won the Tomlin. I don't know what Danbury won, but I do know that Danbury won it. Correct me, am I wrong? Didn't Everett win a national title at Unlimited the first year?
In 2015.
Here. Correct me, am I wrong, Keebler? You up there. I think Everett won.
They beat Dr. Phillips. They beat Dr. Phillips. They beat Dr. Phillips. They beat Dr. Phillips in 2014. That was 2014. 2014.
I'm going to stream that game. No lie, I got the first unlimited championship when Everett won that national title. I got the freaking film. Because we were doing, remember, in 2018, this is funny, Steph went to Florida. Oh, Edgewood won too, he said before.
Edgewood won in 08.
Was it Tomlin and Pop, or was it one, Keebler? Because I don't think anybody from New England, and correct me if I'm wrong, ever won when they came to one champion. I could be wrong though.
Edgewood won. They beat Golds. They beat Golds in 2008 in the national in D2. D2. They beat Golds.
Miami Ghouls were D2.
D2 back then. Yep, 2008. In that year, Golds was D2.
Oh, yep. It was Tomlin and Warner. But yeah, I remember in 2018 because we had an unlimited. Steph did, and Dorchester had in 2018 a varsity, and we both went to Florida, one at unlimited and one at varsity. But the reason I brought that up is I recorded that Everett game.
I got it, Phil. You gave it to me.
I gave it to you, yup.
I got it.
Why? Because we were going towards this unlimited, and that's what I mean about being in the forefront, right? I watched it. I copied it. I gave it to Coach Omega, who was our first unlimited coach, because I saw what was coming down the pipe. Staying at the edge and at the fringes of this youth football thing, you'll get criticized a lot, but the truth of the matter is you'll save yourself that transition time that other people are going to go through. And we did. We never faltered when unlimited came because we slowly started preparing a lot ahead of time. So there never been a Pop Warner New England team to win a Pop Warner championship. Well, those teams are all national champions. Let me be clear. I think what you're asking is, has there ever been, and I don't know the answer to this because I only been in Pop Warner for 13 years. Has there ever been a Pop Warner team that won when there was one national champion in the nation? Was that Everett, right? There wasn't no two national champions on Everett.
Nah, not unlimited. That was at unlimited.
Ty Carter said Danbury Trojans have a natty. Yes, Ty.
Yes, we said that already. 1990. We know.
We said
1990.
That, 1990 around there that they won the I don't know if it was Warner or Tomlin, but they did win. They did.
See, I didn't even know there was, watching all those Pop Warner Super Bowls back in the day, I didn't realize they had two divisions. I never knew that. I never.
When I jumped in, I didn't know either because
until people mentioned it this year, I knew nothing of it. When
I first joined Pop Warner, they were past that because know, as much stuff as I talk, the Hurricanes is still pretty new to Pop Warner. I mean, you talk about the teams, you guys all been around 20, 30 years, dog. All the programs, like the Boston Raiders, Mount Hope, Dorchester, New Haven.
Boston Raiders been around 50 years. They got palled by
decades.
They got palled by 5 years. They got palled by 5 years. The Boston Raiders, if I'm not mistaken, when I was talking to Archie last year at the clinic, they were established in 1972, I believe. They were the Roxbury Raiders or something first. I believe they were established in 1972, something crazy like that.
That's crazy. Yeah. And hopefully when I'm gone, eventually 30, 40 years, we will be one of those programs and it'll be somebody new on the scene saying what I'm saying. Hey, Keebler, last question. You said Edgewood did win in August. It'll be 50 years, Tito.
I told you. Yeah, something crazy. They got palled by 3-4 years. That's what I'm saying. They got the Pal Raiders by 3-4 years.
Hey, but Keebler, my question is, did Edgewood win the whole national championship, or was it Tomlin and the Warner? I think that was the question. But anyway, Tito, I'll continue to answer that as it come in. But I want to show everybody something because I'm gonna pivot right now because we only got like another 15 minutes, brother. I'm not feeling good at all. I want to share my screen and I want to show everybody the new 2024. If you out there and you interested in sponsoring the All-Star Game, or you want your name on the jerseys, or you want one of the games to be named after you, after your company, after your business, think about it. We're drawing in like 2,000 people all over the state of Connecticut. That is good business. If you know your company want to do it, talk to me. You want to put up a table, talk to me. We can make it happen. Tito, here go to Premiere. I actually dropped it on social media. Make sure you can hear it, T. Name on jerseys, set up tables, name on videos, access to our email database. You'll be a speaker at the event. We'll mention your name. We got silver sponsors. We get some of this stuff, depending on how much money you put up, but we can negotiate it. We got media partners. Y'all remember my boy that did the videos, Speech Bull, out of the New Haven area. Y'all remember this. This game was lit, by the way. It was lit. Look at the unis. They fire. Roman numerals. Nobody in New England ever had Roman numerals on the back of their jersey. And from Blackwell, this kid was a dog, y'all. That's a backflip. Woo! Hey, remember, the game's on YouTube. The only game that's missing is CT Youth. I'm going to make it up for CT Youth this year, y'all. I'm going to make it up. Shout out to GB. He showed up and recorded the game for us. Let's keep going. Remember, we got public schools and private schools. This is the ads and some of the sponsors. We can talk about it. There's only a couple of the guys that was in, by the way. This is a sponsorship video, not a commercial. So the new uniforms aren't in here, none of that stuff. Shout out to Matt. MVP. Contact me if you're interested. So T, I have some great sponsors already. And this is going to be the biggest sponsors we ever had for the game so far, but I want to bring in more. I want to try to do it big for the kids. So let's talk about the All-Star game. Oh, no. Oh, he said Edgewood didn't win one by themselves. It was Edgewood and North Long Beach. I guess they both won.
But D2, that was in 08. I was there for the when Edgewood played Bulls that day. I just remember that they won.
By 08, I was getting denied by AYF to join them. Remember?
I was there.
I was there for that. Was there. I was in the room.
I was
there for that. Join Hurricanes tried to join AYF. They told me, no, we don't trust that y'all got equipment. Get out of here. I said, damn. They told me get out the room. They did me dirty, man. It's all good. But yeah, so All-Star game date is going down, y'all. I got the date. Everybody ready? July 13th. July 13th, 2024. The Connecticut Youth All-Star Game is going down July 13th. Location will be mentioned before the end of January. We will have the location locked in, so you'll know. Coaches, we're going to have a coaches meeting in the first week in February. If you're interested, I say this all the time. Coaches don't hit me up. And then afterwards, and they're selected, I get private inboxes with them dumping on coaches that were selected. So I'm going to open it up again. If you're interested in coaching, let us know.
But let's put the disclaimer
against the general at 14U. That's what I'm who's stepping up to that.
Put the disclaimer. Put the disclaimer out now, though, that you know, people that have been involved with the game give first dibs. When those guys say no, we go into looking at the state champions. When those guys deny and so on and so on and so on, that, you know, we just don't. People think we just pick these guys out of favoritism. They act like this. We're picking from so many people. It's not like that. You get what I'm saying?
We don't have as many. Listen, everybody out there, let me explain something to you. It is not easy for coaches to put themselves on a stage like this. Let's be honest. This is the biggest youth football stage in Connecticut alone. Like, just one game in Connecticut, this is it. The Southern Championship or the North or the Central Championship or the Fairfield County Championship or CT YFL Championship, they not getting the numbers that we get. And we know all the football guys is out watching the game. Putting yourself out in a situation like that, to coach in that situation, everybody don't want to expose themselves. Everybody don't want to expose themselves to that level of coaching to be ridiculed by the whole state of Connecticut, because y'all see the blogs after those games. Woo! Y'all see the blogs after the games. It'd be lit. Don't lose that game. Oh.
Don't.
Ask my boy Mike. We went to dinner afterwards.
I'm gonna just pop my sack. The Koreas are 3-1 and the Power Raiders is 3-1 in this game. I'm just gonna pop my shit for the 860.
So
That's
I'm
it.
telling y'all right now, it's not easy. And we don't have as big of a draw coaching-wise as y'all think, because I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna just say it. Some coaches are scared. Some coaches are scared to do it. And we're not doing the odd levels. I'm sorry, y'all. We're not. I was just, testing the waters. But I don't think we should. I think that some of those younger kids can still play with the older kids. We can't cater to every child. Like, that's what y'all want to do. No, it don't happen in high school. It don't happen in NFL. It don't happen in college. Right? Like, let's be honest. It does not happen, Tito. A dog at 11 can play with a 12-year-old kid. Up until about 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, everybody was playing even.
Right. I mean,
on the side. Like, why all of a sudden now, if he's 11, no, they're too old. No, they wasn't too old 3 years ago.
Like I said, the problem is it's not the kids. It's the nature of the youth football world. Everybody wants it right now. Nobody wants to earn their way on the field. Like, they lose sight of the fact that, okay, you may be on the younger end of the spectrum, but if you make the team, that's still an honor to be on the team, even if you don't get that much burn. You know what I'm saying? Pay your dues. Next year, when you're up on the top half of the age, it's your year. There's nothing wrong with that. But the parents will make these kids feel like, oh, they didn't do enough to earn their way on the field. And sometimes it's just not like that. The older kids are a year older. They're a year more advanced. It's their year. Next year will be yours, but people don't look at it like that. So, I mean, we don't get the numbers to do every year. Like, I know that for a fact because I'm with you.
We don't get the numbers. We
don't get the numbers. We just don't.
You can't.
Last year, I had 50-something kids come out for 12, and I know nobody had 50-something kids. 860 at 12 had 50-something kids, 60-something kids. No other level had that. So we can't say that our numbers, they were better last year than they were the first two, but they still
was about 40-something. Chris could say 203-10 was up there.
But what I'm saying is we're still nowhere near where we need to be.
I can tell you this, Mike Brazenio, you're a wanted man by 203. Everybody want to get their paws on you, bro. They I'm just telling you, every time I go to their practice, they want their paws on you. Because they ain't even give you the L from the first year. I don't even think they remember he was coaching the first year.
Well, he wasn't the header. The header takes the slack on that.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying that he's a wanted man. Like, he's a wanted man. Every time I go to 203, Mike, you're a wanted man. I'm just letting you know. You know what I'm saying? I'm not baiting you, but you're a wanted man, brother. They'll tell you. You see Ty tagging him right now. Tell Mike Brazenio, come outside. Mike Brazenio told him, I'm going to bring you a Texas shirt. That's as much as you're getting out of me. So here's the thing, right? We don't want to spread too thin. If we do 9 and 11, you won't have enough 12-year-olds, right? Because you need it where, and let's be honest, the 4 games is enough in a day. Trust me, it's a lot of work to run 4 games. It's not like your local football game where you can run 7 games. I know we got Hartford, right? We run 7 games in a day. You can't run 7 games of All-Star in a day, dog. It's crazy. It's crazy. And so, I can't talk about the theme. Let me see. It's going to be a fun event. The location is still in the works. I'm not going to lie about that. It's going to be a fun event. Tryouts, I think we're going to try a little something different. I think we're going to move tryouts up, tryout early, form the teams early, and then those guys just know when practice starts. Instead of tryouts, boom, practice start, right? Give it a break. I think that we're going to try to do that to give kids time to make the team. I'm going to put this up. I'm reading it for the first time. Here's an idea for the All-Star game. How about making it like other All-Star games? 2-day practice for a 2 or 3 days, then you play. The way it's set up now, some teams may practice more than others. Those teams will come into the game more prepared. So, Tito, you guys out there tell me, you think you can practice for 2? Because I don't think you get the best out of those kids.
No, I think what we do, and I've been involved with other All-Star events, I think what we do is unique. I don't see a problem what we do. I understand what Darity's saying. It will kind of level out the talent by putting people under that type of pressure. But my only problem with that is from being involved in those type of All-Star games, the product is real sloppy out there when you do it like that. Like, you can't formulate. It is impossible to put together things in 4 to 6 hours like that and think it's going to be a sharp product the next day. I think what we do, for the most part, the games, there's been very few blowouts. Oh, no, let me not say that.
I'm going to tell you why I don't like that idea. We have prep schools coming to watch kids mainly at 12 and 14. You'll see a better product if I give them time with Coach Tito, if I give them time with Coach Ty, if I give them time with Coach so-and-so. We're only practicing for 12 hours. People think it's a lot of practice, Tito. With rain and all that, most of the time you get down to 10 to 8 hours, though. Right? Like, think about it. You get in 2 weeks, and you and I both know, Tito, teams don't even always take advantage of the 2 weeks.
Right. No, he's saying 2-3 days before the game. You let him just practice. My point is, 3 days.
It'll down the product. And why would I invite a coach at a prep school to come see you at wide receiver when you and the quarterback ain't even on the same page? Like, I'm designing it to. I feel like it will be designed to make you fail. I can give you a better product. I mean, in the prep schools who really ask for the game, right? I can help provide them a better product if I give you that time of practice. If you look at the last 2 years, that product on the field at 14U and 12U, it was good. And what I mean by that is the game. The 14U game this year, even though 203 won, it was a good game. The game with you and the 2 years of you and my boy Daryl, those were games, dog. Like,
both games were settled with less than 3 points both years. I mean, 1 point 1 year, 2 points the other. So less than 3 points settled both games.
You know, yes, Destiny. The 6U will be the Water Boys. Rachel, I almost spilled the beans. I almost said what I was doing theme wise. But anyway. Yo, no, I thought that it was important that we talk about the All-Star game because it's some big plans. I'm trying to do some different things. I know 10U was a little upset, but you can't do nothing about technology failures. You can't do nothing about that stuff. But we'll make it up to you. I promise.
Yeah, if we get the location that I told you, the one that I first suggested, you know what I'm saying? That location is
But we
be crazy.
We need the big
crazy.
So I'm working on it. I already spoke to him, so. Just so you know. Oh, Ty Carter said, Christian Santos, come outside, brother. 860, Christian. Wow.
Christian tried to get his thing together in New London. He ain't worried about nobody worried about what Ty's saying. Ty just always talking to be talking, trying to get clout chase.
You know, once he won, it was over. You got to deal with Ty all year, dog. All year.
Yeah, tell him to stay at 14U. Tell him to stay at 14U.
All year. I just tapped in, but you know I'm at him, my level. You good at your level, so you want to do this because I'm not going up, and you know what's going to happen if you come down mine. Ty, go down to Matt, Coach Matt. Ty, go down and see Coach Matt. Ty, be brave. I don't know who wants to see that, but anyway, Tito, MVPs at banquets. Last discussion. What you say? You? We got 10 minutes.
I don't. You know, because I preach. My whole deal is we preach one team, one unit. Every person has a sole purpose on this team. So I'm not big on superlatives. Some people are. I just think it sends the wrong message. People start to take it as favoritism. I don't do it. So I understand people that do it. I don't do it for a variety of reasons because it goes against my overall philosophy. So I'm not huge on it. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying I don't do it for I'm not gonna never make one kid feel superior than the other because they have made more results that looks like more results to other people when in reality it was a team effort. So I'm not huge on superlatives, and I personally don't do them. Not saying it's wrong. It's just not for me. I know you probably feel different.
No, I've stopped doing MVPs at Hartford Hurricanes banquet. That's not something that we do. So we ain't gonna start this year. I just feel like the kid running the touchdown, the whole sideline run down the field, call his name, he do a backflip, they all run up as he exit our gate at least. They slap his helmet, they say yo, but they never say nothing to the center that blocked.
Right.
They never say nothing to the right guard that pull and kick out the end or the trap block, right? And so I felt like me personally, I try to think of ways how to give back to those children. And my way of doing it is saying GPA awards. If you have over a 90% GPA, we will recognize you at our banquet. That's where the only trophies we give out. We don't give out no trophies at the Hartford Hurricanes banquet. And
that makes a lot of sense.
Wrong. It's a process of thinking of me trying to reverse. And how does that kid get a standing ovation ever? Whoever gives the center a standing ovation. That's why I think it's never fair, especially at youth. Because let's be honest, one of the questions we put up in the chat room was, what was the biggest problem that youth football coaches? What's the biggest let me call up. What's the biggest mistake youth football coaches make? All the ones I saw, I think the funniest was Lorenzo's, but nobody said this, and it was nobody give props to the trenches.
It's the truth. It's the most underappreciated. It's the most underappreciated position in football, and that just don't go at the youth level. That goes at every level of football. Like everybody's talking about Michigan beating Alabama. Now you know how to bring this up. Everybody talks about, but where Michigan won that game on Monday night was the defensive line cooked Alabama's offensive line, and nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody wants to talk to Michigan.
Split packages, they was looping.
But let's just at the point of attack, Michigan was more physical. Bottom line, at the end of the day, that was the difference in the game. I know there was other mistakes. No, what was consistent about Michigan was they was whooping on Alabama up front. That was consistent Monday night. There's no doubt about that.
No, 100%. I mean, we watched it, right? We saw. The young bull didn't have time. That's why I do not understand some of the play calling. And I think just remember we didn't have an OC.
Okay, Phil, we can start with you guys lost the game. Okay, you lost the game. Just like Texas lost the game. Washington was better on that night.
Did I say we didn't lose? Let me repeat my statement. We did not have an OC.
I hear you.
That we didn't have an OC. That's all I'm gonna say. But I'm not gonna go there. But it showed that we didn't have an OC because when in the last 4 plays of the game, when you roll out the quarterback to the short side of the field to throw to a running back, mind you, Tito, he had just missed him by 4 yards on a wide open.
Wide open. That's what I'm saying. But that don't fall. That don't all fall in the OC. The quarterback's got to make a couple of those throws.
You know the type of player you got, so you call high percentage plays.
Right. I think, like I said, on that last play of the game,
he missed that.
On that last play of the game, I feel they should have rolled him and give him a run pass option at least. Roll him one way and let him throw it if it's there. If it's not, run, brother. Run.
An Alabama center gonna enter the transfer portal. He should have entered the transfer portal at halftime. I ain't cursing no more. He should have entered the transfer portal at halftime, dog. I spent my 2024 gun after the game live, and I deleted it.
Yeah.
He should have entered the transfer portal at halftime when he was.
Yeah, nah, he had a rough. He had a rough series there, right?
You know why? Because he had a dog on him. When you got
in the third quarter,
it's tough.
He had a rough series there.
Back in the day,
but speaking of the O-line clinic.
Hey, real quick, Damon, how did y'all recognize the center? Tell me. And I got one more question for anybody out there while Tito talking. Have you ever given an MVP, if you give out MVPs, to your center or guard? Go ahead, Tito. If you did, I want to hear about it. Go ahead.
No, what I was talking about, I was about to just give myself my own little plug that, the O-line specific training is in full effect. Mud Dog University is going on. I'm taking 7th and 8th grade groups, 5th and 6th grade groups, 3rd and 4th grade groups. Get in my inbox. Hit me if you want O-line specific training. We also, Power Raiders, obviously, NEYT, Premier League. Workouts are starting at the end of the month. We take anybody from anywhere. So if you look at the play spring tackle football, just get in the inbox. I'll show you how to get, put your name in for interest. And we're going to move forward with spring football, doing what we do over here.
Keebler said, I said, coaches do not coach all of their kids, all of their players, and head coaches don't consistently coach and mentor their assistant coaches. So the funny thing I saw on that thread, right? I ain't gonna lie. I thought the funniest thing was, where is that? was Lorenzo comment, because I said, me and you say that all the time, but I think people like it come across as a joke. And he said, it's the arrogance of youth coaches thinking that they some guru in coaching, but in reality, your team is better. Superior genetics. Like sometimes, y'all, we ain't that great. We just got better football players than the other team. So no matter what we call, seem to work. And we go, yeah, you see what I called? No, dude, you can call anything against a team and it'll work. Like, and so to me, that's funny because we don't. The biggest mistake is, as a coach, I'm talking about me too, not just y'all. The biggest mistake we make is that we are self-reflecting because we got a narcissistic football string in us. It's hard to not give ourselves credit when we win. I do it, you do it. Oh, yeah, you see my staff, we've been together. Yeah, we bust people out. I do it, right? But the truth of the matter is, if we look at it, when you're one of the upper echelon teams, not programs, I'm going to say team because there's certain levels of teams. Some teams this year probably could have sent their kids out there by themselves and won football games and never called to play. Because, like we said, the level of play in Connecticut, Tito, is tilted very, very greatly, right? And so we take credit for those as coaches. Maybe we should. I don't know. But the truth of the matter is, I think it's more like what Lorenzo's saying. We just have superior genetics in some of our teams than the other team. What you say is not about the Jimmys and Joes. Sometimes it's
that shows. Here's what I'm gonna say. That shows the one-offs. If you see a guy win one year, then he circles back down and can't make the playoffs. Was it him or was it the kids?
Well, the only bad.
I mean, that conversation comes full circle. We've seen it many times with people when the talent leaves you, and now you got to build another team they're incapable of doing.
But some people have the luxury of jumping around, like me as the president. Technically, I could take the best team in my program.
Right, but I'm just saying.
I don't do that. I don't do that. I've stayed at 14.
I'm speaking from like me. I've jumped around all the ages, and there's one thing consistent about all my teams. When it's all said and done, we're going to be playing in the championship, whether we're good or bad. Now, if we win the championship, that's a whole nother story. But we're going to be there. You understand what I'm saying? That we see these one-off teams that are good 1 year, and then when these guys jump to another team, they can't even make the playoffs. Then we know the answer to that question. Is my point.
Pudge said Bama Center was the reason that third and fourth down snaps were low. Of course,
of course we know that. We saw the game
pick and it was framed. So Damon, y'all gave Windsor Giants used to recognize their center. They used to give him a personal pick and frame it and give it to him. I think at the banquet. That's hot.
That's dope.
Danielle said the center is the most important person. They do not move the ball. Ain't nobody going nowhere. True. Mike Brazeno said they did championship belts for bigs only. They get to take it home for the weekend, and the skinnies did a silver chain for the offensive player and a black chain for the defensive player. Hot. Pudge said, how do teams out your way really have players as sub teams out there have 24 studs and only have 2 subs?
That happens everywhere, though. That happens everywhere. That's not just here. That obviously you see that. He's talking about talent disparity. Teams that are loaded with talent, teams that don't have any. I mean, that's everywhere. That's just not here. That's everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, it's the draw, right? And let's be honest.
Well, no, and some of that is what you was talking about. Some of that
winning.
Some of that is if you're successful, you start getting the clout chasing parents that, oh, my kid need to be a part of that. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? And then it dismantles organizations. It just
and in everybody's defense, we all take those kids. Let's just be honest. When the clout chasing parents come and they son got talent, we're saying yes. We're not saying we're not, but that is the answer to the question, is my point, right? The answer to the question is some of it is they just get a bad draw, right? And some of it, listen, we get bad draws. All of our teams this year wasn't good. Like, I'm not going to mention, but we had teams that really, really struggled this year, like really struggled. You know what I'm saying? And we had some that really excelled. And it happens, right? It happens. But the key is, I will say this, if you look at our young teams, and as they came up, they got better and further. So if a young team didn't even make the playoffs, you'll see how they end up in the playoffs. Maybe won a playoff game at 12U. Maybe made a regional championship at 13U and got the experience Florida.
Like I told you, the true
level of discipline. The
true evaluation of your program is not how many kids you had this year, is how many kids you bring back next year.
Retention.
That will tell you everything you need to know about where your program is. How many of the same kids you brought back next year?
It's retention. If you recruit nobody from no other program, would you have a program?
Absolutely.
If you answer that question, you go, absolutely, we would have every level. Then you have a great retention. Our retention rate is above 90%. We're lucky. And I look at retention rates because to me, that's what make great programs. Retention, kids coming back and back. So my 14U, that it had a lot of 13-year-olds, but my 14U, most of those kids was together since 6 years old. This year was the furthest that team throughout our program have ever gotten to a regional championship game. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them going to high school, but most of them had that ability. Retention is the main source of
defines your program. It defines your program.
Number one, it says that you have a program and not a team. That's the first thing it says. You're dealing with a program. You're not dealing with a football team, right? Number one. Number two, that's why I always say no to people that say, oh, play my 14U. No. Play my 12U. Y'all 12U good. No. Bring your whole damn program. People don't like to do that, Tito. Most people don't like to do that. You know why people don't like to do that? Because they don't have good retention. They got good teams. So they cherry pick the other levels that I'm not at because I'm the great coach. Who cares about them? Long as my team and your team good because we're the premier coaches and we're good. So don't call me up and say, yo, play my team because your team good. I'm going to say, bring up everybody. Oh, well, you know that coach ain't ready to do it. Click. I'm not talking to you. Because I know what's going on here. See, to me, that's disingenuous, Tito. I want to bring my best team to beat you, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to run around and say, oh, Hartford's better than New Britain. Not knowing you would probably beat me 7-1 on every other level.
Nah, that did, man.
I beat you, so I'm going to run around all year and say I have a better program
than even when I do scrimmages, when we set up
for y'all president out here. Stop letting people your name.
When we set up scrimmages, I try to set them up top to bottom. Now, it don't always work like that, but I'm always trying to set up program to program. Like I'm never calling somebody, oh, I need work just for my man. You got to play the program. If you don't want to do that, then I'll find somebody that will. Like, just doesn't make sense any other way to me. But what do I know?
Yo, shout out to Tyler Booker. He played the Alabama game, went up and hugged the quarterback.
It was his teammate in high school, yeah.
I am happy. Go finish the job. I'm so happy for you.
Yo, speaking of which, Big Blue winning the whole thing. Big Blue winning. Jimmy Harbaugh gonna be holding that thing up.
All right, we done with the podcast. You can give your little slogan. I'm off.
Penix is nice though. Don't get me wrong. Penix out of all the quarterbacks is the only I thought pro we saw this weekend. Like dude is gonna play at the next level. Is Penix from Washington.
True. He's gonna play at Washington Redskins too because we're looking for a quarterback. Why you laughing? For real. We're gonna get Penix.
Well, y'all got the first pick? Y'all got the first. Season ain't over yet.
My third.
Yeah, he'll be gone by then. Somebody grab him.
Nobody wants him. No, who wants him? Carolina? They don't need him.
Who? They got a quarterback? They ain't got no quarterback neither.
Who?
Carolina. Who they got?
Who Carolina? Who Carolina quarterback, y'all? Y'all know NFL much more than me.
We're college guys. We don't follow the NFL like that.
I don't really follow the NFL. Who's the Carolina Panthers quarterback? Bryce Young.
Oh yeah, God, they ain't taking him. You right. You right. Who's second? Who got the second pick?
I don't know. I don't think it's the Patriots.
No, the Patriots could use him. If he's there, the Patriots are number 2. They need a quarterback. They absolutely need a quarterback. I know that. I've watched enough of them and the Giants, even though Tyrod Taylor trying to do his thing. I do watch the Patriots and Giants every week. And they both can use a quarterback. So if it's any of them.
Like Chicago Bears is first. They acquired the number 1 pick from the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, but they got Fields. They're not going to. Unless
the Commanders is second.
Oh, so y'all might wind up with Penix.
Yeah, we need quarterback. We need an edge rusher. I don't understand. You give away Chase Young, then now go chase a DM.
Yeah. I don't know. The Washington, ever since Dan Snyder had that team and whoever he sold it to, the things they do never make sense. Never makes sense.
He sold it this year. What are you talking about? He sold it like in this year.
Right, but I'm saying he's never made sense. It's never made sense the things Dan Snyder does.
No, because Dan used to be like Instagramming his yacht in the middle of a game.
Yeah,
like, didn't care.
And it's never made sense what Home does. Like some of the decisions he's made with that organization, it just doesn't make sense.
They saying they're gonna trade Fields and pick Caleb with the number 1 pick.
What Caleb? The Caleb from USC? Caleb Williams?
It must be. Fields going to New England, and New England's gonna draft Harrison Jr. It sounds like it's a bunch of wishful thinkers.
Yeah, wishful.
Get out of here.
It's all good, Playboy. It was a pleasure being back. I enjoyed myself. Peace to the guys in the earths. Your boy, Coach Career, the General's out.
Oh, my bad. It's delayed.
No, I'm good.
I want to say something. Always remember this, y'all. A smart person can play dumb, but a dumb person cannot play smart. Peace, love, and hair grease. Easy.